it.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Woo woo. Welcome to another episode, Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl. And of course, that's our YouTube channel. And this specific playlist is our F.L.A.W.C, F.L.A.W.C. And that is one of my favorite things about this, besides my co-host and all of our guests. Mm-hmm. The F.L.A.W.C, because Anita shared with me a little while ago, it's an endearment termed by a friend of ours, Lee Carroll. And his definition was Fruit Loop and Wind Chimes Club. Love it. And we ask each of our guests what F.L.A.W.C means to them. Oh, Anita's got her wind chime there.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know what? Lee has been using the term Fruit Loop and Wind Chime Club for years and years and years. And, you know, it always brings laughter to the audience, right? When he says, oh, some of you, have been drug here and, now you're a member of our Fruit Loop and Wind Chime Club. And, I always just thought it was a great way to describe those of us who have been on this spiritual awakening journey for the last 20, 25, 30 years. And then, we decided, hey, we're going to use that. And we have found that F.L.A.W.C. to a lot of our guests, we always ask them what their interpretation is. And we always get all kinds of wonderful meanings for this acronym. One of them being flowing love, activating, whirling chi. So, of course, we're going to get your definition later, but okay. So we're excited because we want to introduce you to our F.L.A.W.C, our soul sister, Laura Hernandez, the beautiful, the one and only. And, I met this beautiful soul first, I believe it was New Mexico we met.
In New Mexico.
I was just like drawn to her because she has this beautiful smile and her energy is just like way out here. And then we just connected and we had so much fun. And then, through some synchronistic events, then she got to travel with Cheryl and I with the Cryon group. And OMG, talk about girlfriends laughing.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Off the charts, kind of having fun. And so, yeah, we've missed you, girlfriend. We've missed you. We want to come.
I miss you. Miss you.
And so, yeah, we've been just like, okay, we got to get Laura on. We got to get Laura on because not only is she our dear heart soul sister, but she is this incredibly gifted, talented teacher, coach. You have a list like this. But before we go in and tell all of our viewers, all of those pieces and parts of you that make you magnificent, I want to go back a little bit because you are trained. You went to university to become an engineer. And so how the heck does an engineer end up being a Deepak Chopra,
teacher,
life coach and a heart math coach, like totally two different worlds. So yeah.
The story, please.
We're listening.
I think the story is great.
Okay.
Because, and even a client of mine asked me, how come like engineering with spirituality? That's like, how is that you bridge this? How is that people do that? Were you born like that? And I would say, yes, I was born like that. Okay. I got into a point of my life when I became 40 that I asked myself if I wanted to live the life that I was living at the time, just by being, an engineer and working here and there. And I said, no, no, I don't want this life. I want to change my life. And the next day, things starting aligning in my life to change completely, even cities. So I started studying Theta Healing, and I became a Theta healer, and I did like all the classes possible there. And then I moved to the States, and by moving to the States, I became a coach, a spiritual life coach. And then, I started going into meditation, and, we started Joe Dispenza retreats. And then my engineer mind is like, okay, so if I want a great meditation, what do I need? I need a coherent heart. Okay, so if I need a coherent heart, what is that I should do? So I became a mentor, coach, and trainer for HeartMath, and an activator or heart of teams as well. And then I say, okay, I have this. Now what do I want? I want to become a meditation teacher. So I became a meditation teacher with the Chakra Center. But there is so much around Vedic science that supports this trend of meditation that I did another class to become an Ayurvedic teacher. And I became also an Ayurvedic teacher with the Chakra Center. But then I was so fascinated by the information, I have to do more. And then I'm doing a master in consciousness and human potential. So I'm learning all of the background for meditation, all the Vedic science that supports Buddhism, for example. Buddhism is based in Vedic science. And I am in awe, but also I feel like, well, a lot of people can't meditate in silence because there's so much trauma, there's so much things going on. I have to learn something to help that people. So I'm on the process of becoming a mindfulness meditation teacher with Tara Brach and Jack Cornsfield, which are amazing human beings. But then, Chopra.
There's more.
But then Chopra did a certification on coaching, wellness coaching. And because I was already a meditation teacher and an Ayurvedic teacher, okay, why not? I have to complete that, It's about, having all the things. So I'm always evolving into, I think, a better teacher, a better coach, a better human being. And that's what I'm working on right now. There's little things that I'm working on right now, but I know what awaits me in the future. I want to do some training in trauma, and we'll see where I get. But being an engineer has helped me. Being an engineer has helped me understand how energy works, not only in the body, how energy fields work. How is energy able to reach energy in another country or in another place from my energy? How to impact energy by my own energy. So being an engineer has provided me the ability to understand where I am today. So, and I love it. I love it.
Fascinating. So you're also like a lifelong student of energy, basically.
I think so. And I think it was really in me because when I was in college and I had this class, electricity and magnetism. As a teen, I didn't know about those things. And I was sure that my professor was wrong. And I was so sure that he was explaining things wrongly that I went to the dean and I told him that he was a bad teacher, that he didn't know what he was talking about. Of course, he failed me. Okay. But even though he failed me, I graduated with honors. So that's how I'm a student I am. I love studying. I love researching. I love diving into information and I apply them. It's not that I only study it, but I also apply it.
Yeah, you absolutely do. You walk your talk for sure. And so this class that you took about electricity and magnetism. So I'm wondering, so at the time, like you said, you didn't know anything about this, other world of energy healing and all of that, but there must have been something in your innate, something that had carried on from your childhood. Was there an experience or something maybe in your upbringing, living in Mexico, right? Was there something that happened that maybe you had pushed down or, you know, there was just like a little inkling of this other energetic world that maybe you weren't as a child able to explore?
Well, I do remember as a child, I have always been unique, like very unique. And my parents even have called me witch. Okay. So they called me witch when I was little because I said things and I did things that were kind of different. Okay. But I also remember that I was sacrificed as a Aztec princess. So there is a specific sacrifice where the priest will take away the skin of the princess and it will wear the skin of the princess. So as a child, I told that to my grandmother. So
wow,
that is kind of the only wow experience I remember.
But hello?
I just got goosebumps. Wow. Okay, well that totally makes sense. Why you're such a princess? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
princess.
And so when you told that to your grandmother, what did she say? Is that
she was fascinated by the pyramids and all of that. Okay. So she totally, nobody said that was not true and all of that. And even my dad started reading these Brian Weiss books and all of that. And he saved them to me for when I was like older, and he gave them to me so I could understand myself, because all of the little things
you knew too much.
Remember. Yeah, I knew
too much. Mm-hmm. As a child, you knew too much for it to be your imagination. Exactly. It was an absolute memory of another lifetime.
It was a memory. Wow. And even remember it. It's like I kind of remember it. And when I'm in pyramids, I could go into trance, and it's really unique. I love pyramids.
Oh, so explain growing up in Mexico then, because to my knowledge, and that could be just complete ignorance on my part, honestly, to my knowledge, the Mexican culture is quite Christian.
Yes, I was in Catholic schools all the time, but if you tell me how is that I view God since I was little, it's like, okay, God might be there, but I have my own process.
Okay.
So yes, I'm gonna do the first communion. But I have my own process. So, and even as a child,
you had your own questions and your own knowing that it was more than what you were being told.
Yes, I remember this morning that when I did my first communion, I got sick. So when I received a sacrament, I got sick. And when I was married and I received another sacrament, I was sick. Funny, eh?
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So your parents or your mom called you a witch? Like, was that just her?
My dad.
Oh, your dad. Okay. So was that fear-based?
No, it's wisdom. In Mexico, being a witch is wisdom.
Oh, okay. Out of context again.
So
you're the wise one.
Oh.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's wise.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
In Canada, if somebody labeled you a witch, then you'd be put on the outskirts of town and
burnt at the stake or whatever. Yeah.
The priest out to do the exorcism.
Why? Because you have power.
So that's interesting that in your culture,
sure. Yeah,
that witch, term translates to wisdom, and it's more of an honoring or an acceptance that you had this gift. So how blessed were you to have parents to support that? Mm-hmm. And I know you're very, very close with your parents, and I'm sure that they've been a catalyst for you in your journey.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And do you have siblings?
Mm-hmm. I have a brother. Okay. He lives in Seattle.
And is he older or younger than you?
He's older, but we're completely different.
I was just going to ask.
He doesn't have a clue. He doesn't understand a thing of what I do. Not even like my parents. My dad understands a little bit, my mom a little bit less. They allow me to be who I am, but they don't. Like my brother, he really thinks he loves me.
Which is quite often what happens,
Yes.
you know, what we have discovered is that our flock, the people that are attracted to our energy and that are in our circle, are people just like us, where, you know, we are different. And maybe we have, you know, that little bit of rebel in us. I kind of feel that, that's a common thread that we all share. And people don't see our gifts and talents in this lifetime. And it's okay. It's okay if they don't. But yeah, you know, I wanna talk about, because you know, we could talk for hours, of course, to catch up. But I want to talk about the heart math, because I think that, you know, we know what heart math is, and some of our viewers do, but there's a lot of them that don't.
Do not. Yeah.
And Cheryl and I, we do a weekly Power of 8 intentional group. And of course, we always start off with doing heart math. We always start with doing heart coherence. We do, you know, we reference that a lot. But I guess, you know, for you to kind of explain what that is, how someone can incorporate that into their day, that would be wonderful.
Why would they even want to?
Yeah.
Well, I can explain you all, but first let me tell you what heart math is. Heart math is a foundation that is researching the power of the heart scientifically. That's why it's called heart math, because it's what is the power of the heart through scientific means. They have a lot of research, and they have around 8,000 peer-reviewed papers already. Wow. And their techniques are being used by, you know, people that are very famous and that are very established within the community, like, you know, Joe Dispenza or Greg Braden, or even Lee Cryon. Okay. Mm-hmm. But not only that, it's a technique that is being used by the military, by police departments, by Harvard, by Stanford. And not only is a technique that is used here in the States, but it's also a technique used around the globe. The police department in Germany, they use heart math. The police department in Colombia, they use heart math.
Wow.
And it's a technique so easy to use that a 3-year-old can use it. We have programs from 3-year-olds, we have programs for middle age, we have programs for teens, and we have, of course, programs for adults. And the idea is for you to understand what is the power of the heart. It is the heart that sends information to the brain. And then when your heart beats in a certain way, your brain is going to function in that way. So when you experience life and then you feel, you send that information to the brain, and then the brain is going to function as you are experiencing. So the heart rate is linked to the brain wave, and the brain wave is going to determine how your brain is going to function and what are the different centers of the brain that are going to work together or not together. So your heart, as you feel and experience life, if something is going on, if you're having a conflict, your heart goes into incoherence. That incoherence is sent to the brain, and then the brain acts incoherently. And when the brain acts incoherently, the brain is in fight or flight. So heart math, what heart math does, the heart math techniques are self-regulation techniques. And what they regulate is your heartbeat to a grade, okay? The first ones are going to help you go into neutral, and other ones are gonna help you more to go into a greater level of coherence. And when you go through the whole techniques, or when you go through a program, you can even change your baseline, your heart rate baseline in 3 months. That's how incredible it is.
Wow.
I started studying it because of meditation, because if you have a coherent heart, your brain waves slow down.
Slow down.
They they allow you to go into delta, which is the goal in meditation, to be nothing. So by slowing here, you slow here, and then you boom, you're in the field.
Ooh.
Wow.
Speaking of in the field, and you had mentioned Joe Dispenza, and I know that you have had the great privilege to attend his live workshop, once, not only once, but how many, I think 9 times now, maybe 10, who knows by now. And so now
18.
you
How
are
many?
a support.
18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. And I mean, for anybody that doesn't know Dr. Joe's work, holy Hannah, you better go check it out, because there are some miracles that happen every time. And so tell us a little bit about that experience, because I think that's really cool. 18 times you have been through his intensive program.
So my first
Wow.
question would be, why?
Oh, the field. When you're meditating with such a great number of people, the field is dense. You feel that field. You go deeper into meditation. You create a greater level of coherence that will take all your body, all your systems into coherence. That's why people heal in those events, because the level of coherence that it's achieved by 2,000 people, 1,000 people, depending on how large is the group, is such a great coherent level that you, by putting something that it's chaotic into that field, is going to rise into coherence.
Yeah.
So that's why people go, because after that you feel incredible, because everything upgrades in your mind, in your body, in your soul, everything. And it's a great experience. I have done it many times as a participant, but I have also volunteered, and I have walked the room when everybody is meditating, and you see things, like you visually see things that are happening there, and you walk and you feel like if you're walking through water, you feel the density of the energy.
Okay.
And I think being a volunteer has been a great gift for me. Being meditation assistant at that room is one of my greatest joys.
Wow. What an experience, not just for the participants, but for yourself. Walking through that, because that's very tangible. You're not in your head, you're not imagining it, you're actually physically seeing it. And for people that are analytical, as an engineer, I'm sure you are, because I know I am, and very linear, it's like, this is visceral proof. You're walking through it, and it's like, holy shit, am I seeing things, or what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I dive into information so much, because I see something or experience something, and I want to know why.
Yes.
My brain needs to know why. Like, why is this happening? Why is I'm seeing this? So in my desire to understand my own experiences, I have dived into a lot of information, into a lot of physics.
Very cool. Very cool. So out of all of those experiences and attending that many, what is your, and it might be hard to say, but what is the one experience that stands out the most for you?
I was a volunteer. I was pushing a wheelchair on a walking meditation. So that was my job, to push the wheelchair of somebody that was doing a walking meditation. And he was a big, tall man. So, and I'm, 5'3", so I'm little. So I'm pushing this guy on a wheelchair, on a beach wheelchair, not a normal wheelchair, beach wheelchair, which is easier, but he was big. So imagine my little body pushing this big guy. He was a doctor. And I was pushing him through the meditation. And sometimes in the meditation, you stop and you listen to what Joe is saying, and you work on whatever he's saying. And then you walk again and you stop. So at some point we stopped, and Joe was on one side, and I was just there, like filling my heart with love for that person that I was helping. And the time that you have to walk again started. So I was going to push and start again. And Joe looked at us. And the doctor, looked at me and he said, I'm going to walk. And I was, okay. So he stand up from the wheelchair and he took the wheelchair to push himself through the beach. And like by then, everybody around was crying. Okay. And I was pushing, like not pushing the guy, but I was chasing the guy through the beach with my arms, like trying to create space for him if he falls or something.
Right.
So trying to catch him. So this little person, 5'3", was like following a 6'3" or 6 something person that was making his way on a awkward walk like a child, but he was walking.
Wow.
And I was a witness of it.
And what was the reason he was in the wheelchair? Was it paralysis or?
I don't know. You don't ask.
Right.
Because
True.
when you ask, you are, making that real.
So, okay.
What I know is that he was walking. That's what I know.
Wow.
And it was incredible.
That is incredible. And again, like I'm sure there's lots of stories that you could share, and I just love that you have that connection and that you are in service to all of those people with your beautiful heart and all the love that you are. And I know also that you have some exciting things that you're working on. So tell us, tell our listeners, our viewers, what they can expect to see, where they can, work with the one and only Laura Hernandez, and is all of this a result of your dedication to the Theta Healing, the meditation, the Ayurvedic, all of those combination of things, the heart math that you've put as part of your daily practice?
Thank you. So I do have several programs. I'm going to start a mindfulness program for beginners in meditation in May. So you can look at my website is www.choosingunity.com. And I have all my services there. I coach one-on-one. I have group coaching. Okay, people that are working with me in a group setting. I do coach, as I said, one-on-one. I teach heart math one-on-one. I train groups, corporations, and meditation too, like individuals or groups or corporations. I have a program online that is called the Rejuvenation Key, where I partner with a client of mine that was dying, and we did emotional work together, and she got into a point that she was doing much better, and she incorporated a raw diet to her life, and she completely transformed herself. Her birthday was 2 days ago, and every time she says that I saved her life, I say that she saved herself. But I have that program. It's online. It's called www.therejuvenationkey.com, and that's a program that you can follow through only. I'm having a new program coming on in my website that is called Foundations to Transformation. It's 4 keys that I have found that transform people, so that you can also buy that and go along with it by yourself. But I'm going to upload that into my website soon. So
wow, lots going on. How exciting. And we will put all Laura's links in the comments below, of 100%. Course, because you're going to want to reach out and connect with this absolutely amazing woman. So I want to backtrack a little bit, because we've talked a bit about heart coherence. And can you actually explain what you mean by coherence?
Good question.
Well, let's explain first what incoherence is.
Okay.
Somebody that has been drinking, his actions are a little bit incoherent. Okay, so that is the heartbeat when you feel an unpleasant emotion. the heartbeat becomes jagged, erratic, goes up and down without a cadence. Okay. So when the heart does that, the brain does that. So the heart is not functioning properly. So it's damaging the heart. And the brain is not functioning properly. And that means when the brain is not functioning properly, that you're in fight or flight, you're going to die. So the brain has to send the signals to the body to produce the hormones that are going to help you push the blood from the non-essential organs into the extremities so you can fight, fly, or hide. So incoherent heart means your heart is beating in a jagged way. It doesn't have a cadence. And that is being measured by what is called heart rate variability. So if your heart rate variability is low, that means you are feeling those emotions.
And how would you know if you had low heart rate variability?
Oh, there are devices that can measure that. HeartMath has invested a lot of money in creating those devices, monitors to that sense that. And the app for that is called Inner Balance, and you just buy a sensor and you can see that. It's not difficult to find to do. You just have to learn. And I have a little chart here. If Anita allows me to share my screen, I will be happy to share what that will look like.
Oh no, Cheryl, you have to.
Yeah, I just gave multiple participants. So
okay, so let me open it. I have it right here. And I will.
So this is very fascinating because I've seen, and the reason I'm asking the questions because it's fascinating to me. And I've seen Laura at different events where she has a table set up. So that's why I want you to explain it to our viewers and how they can access the devices and learn more. So go ahead.
Yes, Cryan was very kind in allowing me to explain this. So the heart goes into incoherence. That means the heart rate is beating like this every time you feel an unpleasant emotion. And this heartbeat is going to inhibit the brain function because you're going to have an incoherent brain function, an incoherent brain wave. And an incoherent brain wave is going to impair your performance, your ability to learn, your ability to have clarity, your ability to coordinate, your ability to have situational awareness. And when you're feeling love, when you're in love with life, with food, with whatever that is, you're feeling a renewing emotion. And those emotions create a coherent heartbeat. So this is a high heart rate variability. This is low heart rate variability. And with the HeartMath techniques, you go from here to here in seconds, like literally in seconds. But you're always going to go back to your baseline. And if your baseline is this, which mostly that will be the case if you're not well trained, you don't have this. But with the HeartMath techniques, you can build this as your baseline, which is amazing.
So then that would affect your overall health. And because everything is energy, and energetically what we put out, we get back. When you can maintain coherence, then you're putting out the appreciation, you're putting out the calm, and you're receiving that experience back as well. Am I understanding that correctly or summarizing that correctly?
Well, in fact, and HeartMath proves that the heart is the seed of your energy field. So we attract who we are. So if your field is vibrating coherently, you're sending coherent signals into the field, and you're attracting coherent signals into the field. So if your heart is beating incoherently, you're going to send an incoherent signal to out there, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the field, and then your field, it's attracting that. Also, I explain it in a different way. We are always thinking, always thinking. We have 6,000 thoughts per day. And 5% is conscious, 95% is subconscious. You don't know what you're thinking. So those are signals into the field, electromagnetic waves that you're putting out there to attract something. So you're putting out 95% of things that you don't know.
Right.
But if you're in control of your point of attraction, your heart, if you have a coherent heart, you're going to attract to you experiences that are pleasurable experiences.
Higher vibration.
Higher vibrational experiences, because that's what you're vibrating. Even though you're signaling maybe 50% of things that you don't want, you're not going to attract them because you hold in your heart a coherent field.
I love that explanation. To me, that is actually the key, period.
It's the key.
Well,
Hold
and
love in your heart and everything is gonna be favorable to you.
So now you said there are devices and there's ways to learn. I love those glasses, Anita. I just smile every time I see them. There's devices that you can,
heart coherence up.
right? There's devices that you can get and start utilizing this at home, right? This isn't, you don't have to go to a Joe Dispenza event to become heart coherent.
No, in fact, you will not know if you're have a coherent heart unless you have a device.
Okay, so how does a person get a device?
Or you go to heartmath.com and go and buy one. Okay, and I think right now they have 20% off or 10% off today.
And do you have a referral link?
I have a referral link that I can provide.
So we'll put that in the comments.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
And then, you know, it kind of brings us back to Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl. Like, we teach and coach our clients and our class participants to live with the things that they love, that make their heart sing. And, you know, all of that, you know, I think collectively, all the work that we are doing, we're all helping each other to bring more coherence into the world. Because again, collectively, we know that what Laura does, she does for me.
Exactly.
You know, because her energy goes out and expands into the field of consciousness. What Cheryl does, she does for me. What I do for them. And so how important is it that we all practice heart coherence? And it's just, you know, staying in that state or that place of gratitude, of love, appreciation, stillness. And then how do we get there? You know, we hire a meditation coach and we learn to meditate so that we can be more present. Yeah, so I just love how the universe just weaves all of this together and brings it magically to the forefront. See, my heart is already expanding. If we were to measure our heart coherence right now.
Well, what I loved about this conversation is it also blends the woo-woo, the wind chime, Fruit Loop and Wind Chime Club with the science.
Yes. And
science is catching up to prove and validate what the woo-woo club has said for years. Really.
Yeah.
And it's people like Laura who have this thirst for knowledge and want to do the research. And then they bring all of their knowledge together and they culminate it in one magnificent Aztec princess package. All of this is a remembering for you. That's what I'm hearing throughout this whole thing. You knew where to go because you've been there already.
Other that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I know where to go. And I'm very, very like driven when I see the signs.
Yes. Very cool. Oh my gosh. Like, this has been a delight. And this may also wind up being part one of part two. Part one of two. We'll see. Because I love the conversation and we could continue, but we're already way past our time. And we do respect your time because you are a busy, amazing, magnificent coach and being on this planet. Anita and I are so honored that you took time out of your schedule to spend some time with us. And I adore you.
Oh, thank you very much. And you guys, you love how much I love you. and I miss you. And those fun times that we had together were incredible, and I cherish that in my heart. So hope to see you soon and share more moments.
Oh,
Thank you
perfect.
for this opportunity.
Oh, our pleasure. Anita, any final words before we sign off?
I just want to say that I know we'll be doing a girls' road trip or fly trip or something, because we'll have to go and bless a new home for our dear friend. So, that'll be, maybe we'll do another conversation there. Anyway,
Why
so
not?
again, thank you for tuning in to our F.L.A.W.C. And we look forward to connecting you all with our beautiful dear heart, Ms. Laura Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Bye for
Thank
now,
you. Thank you
everyone.
very much.